Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So, I just finished my run here, and I am in Balboa Park in San Diego, and I have been listening to an audio program by Earl Nightingale. If you're not familiar with Earl Nightingale, he's basically, just blocking the camera here. He's basically one of the main guys that sort of pioneered the idea of what's now called kind of the secret or the law of attraction. I don't really like either of those names, but essentially this idea, or popularized. He didn't really come up with this thing. It's always been around in some form or another, but he basically popularized this idea that what you think is what you become. And this really led to a lot of the self-development, a lot of the stuff that I talk about here a lot in this channel on Simple Programmer, personal development type of self-development type of thing. Anyway, if you've never listened to him, you definitely should. He's a really good motivational speaker. Really has a lot of good ideas. Anyway, one of the things that he was talking about was this idea of service. And I've talked about this concept, this idea a bit here, but I've never really, I don't think I've called it by the name service. I've really used the word value. And I've sort of said that, if you provide value to people, that you'll get value, and that the way that you really become successful is providing value. And there's a little bit of difference, I think, in using the word service versus value, although they're a lot, to some degree, they're the same concept. Value, I think, gives you the idea of a tangible thing, whereas service is a mindset. It's something you do, not a tangible thing, if that makes sense. So I want to talk a little bit about the idea of providing service and how that is the key element, not only to physical wealth, tangible wealth, but to the wealth, the kind of fulfillment that we all seek in life. I know this. I've learned this lesson. I'm still learning this lesson, because if you know my story, I basically, my goal in life was to retire young. And I hit that at about 33. You can read about it in my book, Soft Skills, a Software Developer's Life Manual. I have a chapter in there on that, if you're curious. But, I basically hit that goal where, I'm not extravagantly wealthy, but I didn't have to work anymore. I could quit my job. I could, do whatever I wanted, and I had enough money coming in passively to be able to do whatever I wanted. And what I found was that was not what I actually wanted to do. Once I reached that point, I was thinking that, hey, sitting on the beach and chilling out and playing video games all day would be great, but that's actually not so great. In fact, I didn't even really ever do that, because I never really felt like doing that. There's planes. Wow. That's a loud plane flying overhead here. So anyway, I never ended up doing that. And what I found was that and I've been still discovering this, right? A quick video on my review for Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny, that really helped me to figure some of this out, which was that I had a lot of achievement in my life, but not a lot of fulfillment. And fulfillment comes from serving. And that's the key. Not only does fulfillment come from serving, but the monetary value, the way that I've made my money, the way that anyone makes money is through service. Whether you believe it or not, it's true. And you can test this theory by looking at any successful person, anyone who's been successful to any degree, and you'll find that they've served others in some way, right? Maybe they didn't even intentionally serve others, but they've created something of value that is in some way serving others, unless they hit the lottery. But they usually don't hold on to that wealth. You actually, so there's another thing, is for those of you that are playing that Powerball or whatever, you will only hold on to the wealth that you have earned, that you are ready for. So even if you get lucky, those of you that are wishing that you would make a lot of money and be rich, that you might have that happen, but it will disappear if you're not ready for it. And the way that you're ready for it, I can tell you the one way that you know that you're ready for wealth. It's that it comes to you. You generate it by giving service. So anyway, I want to talk about service. and how this applies to anyone. So let's say you're just a programmer, just a programmer, but you're just an awesome programmer. You're just a programmer working a regular job. You said, hey John, yeah, maybe I'd like to be an entrepreneur someday and build a business. I don't know if I can, but I would just be happy just, making whatever, doing my job as a programmer and making a good income for my family, and maybe someday retiring young and being financially independent. But I don't need to have all these great things, and so I don't really need to worry about service. Here comes another plane. That's great. Just wait for this plane. All right. Anyway, so the thing is, it doesn't matter, because whatever you're doing, right? If you're working a job, what is the point of your job? Is it to write code? No. Yeah, you may write code for your job, but really what it is to provide a service, right? To serve others. And to the degree to which you are able to serve, the value of your service is going to determine what you're paid, what kind of job that you have, how you're respected. All those things in life are going to be determined by the amount of service that you provide. And it especially scales up for an entrepreneur, right? If you build a thing that serves 1 million people and you get $1 from it, you get $1 million, right? And they give you $1 worth of value back, you'll have $1 million. So the amount of service that you provide is going to be the amount that you're going to get back. And that's key. And it doesn't matter, like I said, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're just a programmer, just working a regular job, it doesn't make any difference. That if you want to reach some level, you have to stop thinking in terms of, how can I strategically get there? You need strategy, of course, but what you really need to think about is how can I serve more? And if you think about it, right, with Simple Programmer, I know this for sure, right? As Simple Programmer has grown, the way that it's grown primarily is by serving more people. When my website was generating, 100,000 visitors a year, it provided a certain amount of value. I was serving 100,000 people perhaps, but when it reached 2 million people a year, like last year, about 2 million people, it provided a different level of service. It was serving a lot more people. Same thing with this YouTube channel, right? I've got at this point there's around 15,000 subscribers at the time I'm recording this video. Imagine if I had 1 million subscribers, I'd be serving 1 million people or more, right? And that would create a certain amount of value. And so what I'm getting at is that, it's great. I've told a lot of you, if you've bought my How to Market Yourself as a Software Developer course, which I, of course, recommend that you get if you want to learn how to market yourself and, and increase your income as a software developer. And if you've signed up for my free blogging course, which go ahead and do that, you might have focus on the strategy. And I talked more about the strategy, to be honest. But it's not creating a blog. It's not producing videos. It's not showing how much you know to the world and getting your name out there that really matters, right? I mean, you have to do those things, but what matters is the service you're providing. So when you write a blog post, I don't want you to think about, I have to get this blog post done. I don't want you to think about, I have to show people what I know. Instead, I want you to think about, how can I serve someone who has a problem? How can I help someone? What kind of service can I provide? And you should be thinking about that in everything that you do. If it's just in your regular daily job, if you start thinking, how can I be of the most service? How can I serve people more? How can I serve people in a greater way, in a greater capacity? How can I serve more people? If you think about that, that's where the real growth is going to come. That's where the real value is going to come. And you're going to have to do all those other things. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to work strategically. You're going to have to be smart. You're going to have to do all those other things. But what I'd like to, emphasize with this video is that you have to shift the focus. You can't have the focus be on creating wealth or value for yourself, or showing how much you know, or executing a strategy blindly. Great, one more plane. Okay. Anyway, what you have to do is focus on providing a service to someone, providing value. And if you do that, that is the thing that is going to make the difference. That is the thing that is going to really determine the level of success you reach. And you'll see the difference. Not only will you see more success, right? Because you will be providing value to other people, and you'll naturally get some of that value back. So not only will you see that level of success and an increase financially, but you're going to see an increase in your level of fulfillment. And I know this for sure because at one point I started going through the motions, right? You know, I'd been successful, I'd built my business, I had, you know, been able to achieve my goals, and then I just started doing things for the purpose of doing them, and my focus stopped being on service. And when that happened, I saw a major shift, not only in the growth stopped, but in my own fulfillment. I didn't want to do this anymore. It wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it. There wasn't any purpose. There wasn't any fulfillment. So I'll end this now. I don't know why my videos are ending up like over 10 minutes every time now, but hey, it is what it is, right? Hopefully you found some value from this, and just remember, you know, shift your focus into service. Realize that how well you serve others is going to determine how much success that you achieve in your life and fulfillment. And so do the strategies, do the smart thing, but make your goal, make your reason behind what you're doing, and make the number one thing that you try to maximize the service that you provide to others. And then you'll see a phenomenal change, a shift in the effectiveness that you have, the success that you achieve, and everything else. So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you've got a question for me, you can always email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.